Hello and welcome back to yet another video on the Alejandro Hernandez podcast, and today I'm going to be recapping the NBA Finals between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. I know it's been a long time since I've uploaded a video. It's been a pretty busy couple of weeks. I've been doing content over at FIU. I'm a sophomore at FIU, so that's kind of been holding me up these past couple of weeks, but here I am now finally recapping the NBA Finals, which went 7 games. The Thunder end up winning. I had the Thunder winning in 5 games. They wind up winning in 7. And honestly, you got to give respect to the Pacers. I have basically been disrespecting them all this whole entire playoff run. I picked against them every single series. And who knows, maybe if Hallie gets hurt, they prove me wrong once. If Hallie doesn't get hurt, they probably prove me wrong once again. But my main point, my main takeaway from why I was picking the Thunder in 5 was defense wins championships. And that prevailed in this series. The Thunder really just overwhelmed the Pacers at times, especially when Halliburton went down in Game 7. The Pacers didn't really have the engine of their offense because that's what Halliburton was. He was the engine of that offense, and then without him, it proved to me too much for the Pacers to overcome, and the Thunder really took advantage and they ran away with it in Game 7 in the third quarter when they just went on that 19-2 run and then never looked back from there. Jalen Williams' performance in this series really surprised me. I thought he was always a good number 2, not a great number 2, and in this series became a great number 2, especially with how much of a pest Andrew Nembhard was being on SGA, constantly denying him the ball. Jalen Williams really had to take command of the offense, and I thought he did a great job of doing that. In games 3, I think he had a great game 3. He had a great game 2. He struggled in game 1 and game 6, but other than that, games 2, 3, 4, and 6 and 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then 7, he was excellent. So, got to give a lot of credit to Jalen Williams. I believe he's now one of the best number 2s in the NBA. Probably I think he's in that Jaylen Brown tier now of number 2s in the NBA. He's one of the top number 2 scoring options in this league now. Much credit to Jalen Williams. Chet Holmgren really did struggle this series on the offensive side of the ball. I believe he was shooting like 12% from 3 for the entire series. It was very rough numbers from Chet Holmgren in terms of shooting, and that's expected from a young player like him. He wasn't really being able to get his jump shot going, really his game going, because of how physical the Pacers defense was being with him. And that's something he's going to have to work on. His physicality on the offensive side of the ball is what he struggles with. And obviously his perimeter shooting needs work. But on the defensive side of the ball, especially in Game 7, Chet Holmgren made his presence felt, blocking so many shots. He was great at the rim this entire series. A lot of credit to Chet Holmgren. When the Thunder needed him to step up, he did just that in games 4 and 7. Both were must-win games for the Thunder, and Chet Holmgren came up huge. And who I have not mentioned yet, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. What a series for him. Just the model of consistency. He's just been consistent this entire playoff run, this entire regular season. The season as a whole, he's been consistent. Now, a league MVP, scoring champ, Finals MVP, Eastern Conference Final or Western Conference Finals MVP, basically every accolade that you can have, he achieved it this year. So much credit to SGA, as he has now solidified himself as a top 3 player in the NBA alongside Giannis and Jokic. So much credit to SGA, and he's going to be at the top of the NBA for a long time now, I believe. He has all the tools to do it. He's young. He doesn't really rely as much on his athleticism as guys like Russell Westbrook, John Wall, those athletic point guards, John Morant especially, those type of point guards usually flame out at the end of their career because they're injured all the time. Shai is pretty much the complete opposite. He relies on his skill, and that's why guys like James Harden have had such a prolonged career, because James hasn't relied on his athleticism to be great. It's been skill. So, and also Steph Curry. Curry and Harden are the model of point guards from now, especially Dame as well. Dame obviously had the Achilles, but they're point guards who rely on their skill and their shooting. And Shai also does that at an extremely high level. So I believe Shai is going to dominate this league for a very long time, because he doesn't really rely on his athleticism to be great. It's his skill set, his mid-range jumper, his foul baiting. A lot of people were super frustrated with his foul baiting. I think it's just a skill. It's really just a skill at just pump faking shots, at getting defenders to reach in. He's just so good at it. And he's able to get to the free throw line, and once he's making his free throws, he's really hard. The Thunder are a really hard team to beat when Shai gets to the line. I believe they were undefeated in this entire playoff run when Shai shot more than 10 free throws, because when he's shooting free throws, it calms the offense down when he's able to get to the line. He gets some free points. He's, I believe, over a 90% free throw shooter. He's excellent from the free throw line. And In this series, he proved to be excellent again from the free throw line, and even when he was struggling from the field, he was able to get to the line, and that's how he was able to get his points. So Shea deserves a ton of credit for being a two-way player. He was also great on the defensive side of the ball, blocking shots, getting steals, and when he was a facilitator, when he was as a facilitator, when he functioned as a facilitator this series, was when the Thunder were at their best because he was getting his teammates open looks. In Game 7, he had over 10 assists, and I believe it was Game 2, he had about 8 or 10 assists. I'm not entirely sure. But Games 1 and I believe Game 4, he had no assists as well. Game 4, they were barely able to win because he wasn't a facilitator. He had 35 points and no assist in Game 4. But when he was a facilitator was when the Thunder had really, really great success against this Indiana Pacers team because he was able to get his teammates involved. And when SGA is scoring and he's able to get his teammates involved, that's when the Thunder are at their best. But they did struggle with that in this series. In Games 6 and 1, which is really when they struggled the most. In Game 1, they blew that lead, and then in Game 6, they got blown out. Shea wasn't a facilitator. So if he works on that part of his game and he's able to get his teammates open shots consistently, as well as also draw double teams, and even when he's singled up, he's able to get his own shot, Shea was magnificent. So all around, a really, really great and impressive performance from this Thunder team as they showed resilience time and time again. They could have very easily crumbled down 2-1 heading into Game 4, down 10 in the fourth quarter. And watching that game in the fourth quarter, I really thought the Thunder were dead. I thought the Pacers were about to go up 3-1, take command of the series, probably lose Game 5 and win it in 6 at home. SGA said, hell no, I'm not letting that happen. He wound up scoring, I believe it was 15 or 16 points in the fourth quarter to guide the Thunder to victory. So Shea deserves a lot of credit. He's a top 3 player in this league, and anyone trying to diminish this Thunder run really just doesn't know basketball or doesn't appreciate the greatness of the Thunder, especially how young they are. People have these lofty expectations. Oh, they should have beat the Pacers in 5. Yeah, I predicted them to beat them in 5. But this is the NBA Finals. They haven't been here before. They're still so young. So they had to go through these growing pains. The growing pains in the second round against Denver when that series was dragged out to 7 games. They had to go through that to prepare them for this hard-fought series against the Pacers. So that's enough Thunder talk. Let's now shift to the Pacers. Really, in every series that I've covered on the Pacers, whether it was the Bucks in the first round, the Cavs in the second round, the Knicks in the third round, and now the Thunder, I've really only focused on the opposing teams that they've played and haven't really focused or given credit to the Pacers as a whole. But they really earned my respect, and they should have earned it a while back, but they really, really earned my recognition and respect throughout this NBA Finals. Tyrese Halliburton. Throughout the whole playoff run, he was just making shots or just playing in a certain type of way that was like what the hell. He would put up shots where it's like, yeah, that's not going in, and he swishes it. He really, really, really just took a lot of people by surprise, including myself. Had me looking at the screen like, damn, like, that's crazy. Like, I respect you now, and I wasn't familiar with your game, Tyrese, and you really proved me wrong. And what a playoff run it was for him. In his Instagram post, or I believe he tweeted it out on Twitter, it was saying that he wouldn't have taken this run back if, like, he was saying that, like, he would, although he did get hurt, he would have done it all over again. Even if he could have prevented that injury, he still would have done it all over again because of what a special run it was. And really, we're not going to see a run like this from a team in a very long time. If I were to compare this run to a team, I would compare it, I'd shift to soccer. This is like a 2018 Croatia run that the Pacers went on. Time and time again, people were picking against them in Croatia. They were picking Brazil against them. They were picking against them when they faced England in the semifinal. And they just proved again, time and time again, they were proving everyone wrong, and I believe that's what the Pacers did this playoff run. I had the Cavs beating them in 5, the Knicks beating them in 7, the Bucks beating them in round 1. I was dead wrong about the Indiana Pacers, and that was mainly because I didn't really have much respect for Tyrese Halliburton as a star or a player that can uplift his team to an NBA Finals run, and that's exactly what he did. So what a run from Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers. Siakam was a huge factor in their successes. He was kind of their go-get-a-bucket guy. Then you had guys like Aaron Nesmith come up in Game 1 against the Knicks. You had Andrew Nembhard made that huge shot at the end of Game 1 to uplift them in that comeback. Miles Turner made time. There was just so many players in the Pacers that contributed to this run, and it really just signifies a shift in the NBA. And I had said in the Eastern Conference Finals that this NBA is a superstar-driven league, and I was dead wrong. This NBA playoff run, or just the 2025 NBA playoffs as a whole, signified a shift in the NBA, which is that it's a team sport. It's not a superstar driven league anymore. You can't have a big three like they had in Miami with Braun, D Wade, and Bosh, or the KD Warriors where it was KD, Steph, Clay, Dre. That's just not possible anymore in the NBA. If you want to have success, we've seen super teams, well, attempted super teams, such as the Suns with Bradley Beal, KD, and D Book, that blew up in their face. The Nets Kevin Durant team with Harden, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant, that blew up in their face. This year, the Bucks, Giannis and Dame was not enough to even get past the Pacers in the first round. It's really becoming a team sport, and you got to have depth if you want to go on long runs. The Thunder had depth, the Pacers had depth. They proved to be the two best teams in basketball and played an excellent 7-game series. So all in all, my take still remains that defense wins championships, and that's really how the Thunder were able to win this series, by just completely overwhelming the Pacers offense at time to time. And yeah, you can always have a great offense, but what really wins games is great defense, because when your shots aren't falling, you need to rely on your defense. And the Thunder were able to rely on their defense to get timely steals, get points off turnovers, and that's how they were able to overwhelm the Pacers and ultimately power past them in 7 games. Now that is going to be it for my finals recap. My next video is going to be me ranking the top 32 starting quarterbacks heading into the 2025 NFL season. I'm going to be releasing a ton of NFL content. Since now we're really deep into the offseason, there's no more NBA, there's no more NFL, not even NHL. The Stanley Cup just finished, so really the 3 main sports in America are pretty much done. So now I'm really just going to be bringing up topics such as top 32 quarterbacks. Maybe I'll rank wide receivers, running backs, just go position group by position group. I think that's the kind of content I want to release, as we really don't really have any talking points on games that are going on since everyone's in the off season. So yeah, that's the kind of the content that I'm going to be releasing, and I will give you guys that video soon. But until then, I will see you guys next time.